Hey guys, welcome to a tool review on the Triton triple blade electric hand plane. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys have seen pictures of it, and I've got a lot of message asking me to do a video about it because there are no videos out there on YouTube or anywhere else that really show the tool in action. So I wanted to do a comparison of your standard one and talk about the pros and cons of the tool. So let's start with the comparisons. So obviously the first thing that jumps out is size. You know, everybody's familiar with the standard hand plane that you can get at any of the box stores. This is a Bosch 3 1/8 blade, light, easy to use. The Triton, on the other hand, completely different. It's almost 23 inches long, and it's just under 23 pounds. So this is no joke of a tool. So let's talk about the pros and cons of the tool. Let's look at the pros. The first thing is, you will notice it's well built. It's probably the most well built tool that I've ever come across. It really feels incredibly solid. You know, no cheap like plastic. The rubber on it feels thick. I mean, everything about it just feels quality. The weight of it, although on one hand it can be a con, the weight actually helps keep it down when I'm flattening the tabletops. It is extremely powerful, and the blades measure just about 7 1/8 wide. Now, by comparison, this is actually wider than my Grizzly behind me. Another pro for this is that it comes with this fence, and there are a couple slots on the sides here. It comes with a couple like rubber knobs, threaded knobs, and you can actually clamp this in your table and screw these on, and you have a bench joiner, which is pretty awesome, especially when you consider again that the blades are just over 7 inches wide. Which brings me to the next pro, which is the value. So I picked up this tool for $229, and I'm going to put a link below where I found it for $229, because I searched everywhere. In most places were anywhere from $250 to $300. So I'll put the link below so that if you guys are interested in it, you guys can get the best price that's available out there. So now let's look at the cons. If you notice the handle placement, the Bosch or your other standard ones is up high. It's real easy to grab. The tool is light. You can move it around as you want. The handle here for the Triton is behind the tool, so it's similar to, say, a worm drive saw. So you're really like behind it, pushing it. And because of the handle placement and the weight of it, it kind of feels awkward. Now, I don't mind it as much because, again, I do such large surfaces that, you know, I don't let it get to me that much because of how wide it is and how much it helps me do that. But for someone who doesn't do a lot of tabletops, maybe this, you know, isn't for you. The handle does adjust, which is good. But the weight of it can be a con, again, because when you're pushing it, it becomes tiresome to use, so you're constantly taking breaks. Another con is noise. This thing is extremely loud. When I fire it up, you guys will see how loud it really is. And the last con is dust collection. The dust collection on this thing is horrific. Now, if you look at, say, your standard plane that most of you have, you can adjust it so that dust either comes out this side or that side when you put the bag or your hose on. I wish they did that on the Triton. They only have one port. There's only one direction it feeds out of. But because it's such a big tool and because it's so heavy, attaching a hose to it just makes it even more awkward, so I don't even bother. I just let the dust blow out and I sweep it up after. So let's fire this up so you guys can really see what it's like. see, it's extremely loud. And if you saw how much chips were flying out, that is only on a 64th pass. I mean, it's extremely powerful and it really eats up the wood. The final con on the tool itself is that it doesn't have one of those knobs in the back, like say the Bosch, that you can set it down and it raises up the back end so that your blades aren't hitting your work. This does not have that. So you kind of have to lay it on its side until the blades stop before you put it down, because then you risk it chewing into your wood. So that's really it. When I talk about this tool on Instagram, or if I do the Instagram live, you know, the one thing I'll say is that it's really hard to say that I recommend the tool because it's so different than any tool that I've used. Even though it is an electric hand plane just like this, it acts and works so differently. You know, I still use this because if you look closely, the grooves that it will create as I plane, I can't really feather them with this because of the weight. So I do use this to kind of feather it in, blend in the lines to make it easier for me to sand and get the table level. So the weight of it, the handle placement, just makes it real awkward. But I fight through that only because I do so many tabletops that, you know, my goal is to get them, you know, as flat as possible, as quick as possible, so that I can move on to the next job. So all I can say is that if you do a lot of what I do, big surfaces, then yeah, for 229 bucks, I mean, the value is incredible in what you get in the tool. But if you're just a person that needs an electric hand plane, even though the value is great, I just don't know how much you'll A, use it, or B, like using it. So that's it. I mean, the visual speaks for itself. It's a huge tool, it's a heavy tool, but you know, like I said, it's well built, it's quality, and you get a lot for the money in the tool. So I'll let you guys judge for yourself, but that's it on the Triton triple blade hand plane. If you guys have any questions more on the tool, feel free to leave it in the comments section. And thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.